So how do you check your literature? I'm going to use this to do a very quick example. This is not comprehensive, but it still covers majority of what you need to know on how to check your literature. So we are going to be using a main topic, the impact of smartphone use before bedtime on sleep quality among university students. So this is one thesis topic. Now that you have your topic, how do we do the search? In order to do the search, you have to be able to know the concepts or keywords that exist in your topic. So in this topic, the keywords here is smartphone use, bedtime, bedtime, that is the timing, bedtime. Then we have sleep quality. Then we also have the population, which is the university students. So the first thing to do when you have your topic and you want to search is to break this topic into key concepts and list their related words, because the words that you've used for your thesis topic might be different from what someone who did a similar study used. So maybe you might have used smartphone use, but someone stated mobile phone usage. So those are related terms. And university students, someone can also come and write undergraduate students, college students, and whatever. So you write your concepts or the keywords down. So the first keyword we wrote here is smartphone use. What other word can we use for smartphone use? So we list first the smartphone. What other word can we use? Then we have mobile phone, mobile device, phone, screen time, because screen time is associated with smartphone use. As long as anybody is using a phone, they are also entertaining screen time. So we use what we call Boolean operators. Boolean operators are words like and, or, and not, which we use to combine our search terms so that you can narrow or broaden your search results. So you can realize that in this first line up here, we have or, which means it's either the search results we are looking for shows up with smartphone, or it shows up with mobile phone, or it shows up with mobile device in the search results. Then we move to the second concept. We have before bedtime, which is before sleep. So we have before sleep, bedtime, or pre-sleep. These are related terms. They are exactly the same in meaning. Then we have evening or nighttime. So these are related words because we are not sure what other studies or researchers have used in their titles. So you do that for all the key concepts and keywords in your study. You list them down so that you know how you are going to run your search. Then the university students, you realize that we have college students, undergraduates, and young adults. After doing all that, you are now going to put all this in what we call a search query. You are going to put them together in a search query. So you group related terms together and add them to other related terms until you finalize your query. So this query is what you are going to paste into your database, for example, Google Scholar. So you realize that we have smartphone, mobile phone. These are related terms which mean the same thing. So we put them into one bracket. And after that, then we do end. So it's either we have smartphone or mobile phone or so and so end, which means whatever articles you are looking for, you want them to contain whatever is added to the end. Is either they contains whatever is added to the all means is optional. It can either have smartphone or mobile phone, but whatever comes after the end, you want it to include it in the research search results. If this is also too many for you, if it's too plenty to grasp, you can just divide the topic into the key concept part. So we realize that this is a narrower version of the query. We have smartphone use before bedtime, which is one thing, and sleep quality and university students. So we are trying to look at all these three concepts and how they affect each other. So we put them all together, which means everything that you are looking for, every article that you want to show up should contain all of these three. So now that that is out of the way, we are now going to choose a database. A database is any search engine or website that you are going to look for your articles. And the most common one is Google Scholar. We have PubMed, Eric Scopus, Web of Science, and the rest. Don't always rely on Google Scholar, which, although this is the easiest to go, don't always rely on Google Scholar because some articles might not be with Google Scholar. And once you are in Google Scholar and you are searching for anything, make sure you use what we call filters, search filters, either Google Scholar, PubMed, or wherever you are looking for your articles from. So let's go back to our query. I'm going to use you can either copy this one if you have one for a study, or you can just use this. So let's use the narrow version. So let's copy this and try a search in Google Scholar. So this is Google Scholar. So I'm searching for articles. So you realize that we have a lot of articles that have shown up. The search is saying about 80 results. So this is what we call advanced filters. Advanced filters. So you can sort by date, or you can sort by relevance, or you can just customize the range of it. So maybe we are looking for only articles from 2015 to 2025. You type them there, then you research. So realize that it has dropped from 80 results to 70 results now. So now you have a list of articles which are going to help you in your study. You are now going to go through each of these one by one. So let's go back to our presentation. So we've used the filter. We filtered it from all the time to 2015 to 2025, and it's in English, and it's an article. Other web databases like PubMed have more filters that you can use for your search. Now that you've gotten your search results, what do? You first do what we call the first sweep. Instead of opening each article one by one, you are going to scan through the titles to see if they are relevant. So we are looking at smartphone use before bedtime and how it affects sleep quality among university students. So we are going to look at the topics and maybe parts of the abstract to see if they actually matter, if they are relevant. So the first one is saying the impact of smartphone use at bedtime. So realize that this whole topic is exactly what we need. This matches what we are looking for. So in Google Scholar here, you can actually click save. You can hit save here, which means you are saving it to a list. So you can create a new list. You realize I have a lot of lists here. So you can create a new list. For example, I can create a list here called smartphone use. So I can just say smartphone. So I create a list so that I can save all this because I can be saving them one by one on a paper or typing the titles. Then you come to the second one again and say poor sleep quality among bedtime smartphone user, but it also matches our topic. He said sleep quality, bedtime. We have all these related things here. So you can also save this one as well. We can save all these ones that are related. If you find one that doesn't relate to what you are looking for, you just exclude it or you just ignore it. So you do a quick search. This means this is what you use your eyes to do. You do a quick search and read very fast and try to figure out if this is necessary for you or not. If it's necessary and very useful, you save the citation or you save it in Google Scholar like I did, and you can probably download a PDF if you like. However, if it's unclear and you don't know what to do with it, you can still download it and put it somewhere. But if it's off topic, just exclude it. Once you are done, download all these articles and put them in your reference manager. Personally, I use Mendeley and also use Zotero. So this is Zotero. You can just come here. Once you download all your articles, you can come here and create a folder. You can create a folder and put in all the references or the PDFs that you are going to be using for your particular thesis. And there's also another thing that you can do as well, which is called snowballing or backward and forward citation chasing. Once you've downloaded certain papers, for example, if this paper here, let's choose one. If this paper here is very, very useful to our study, you're going to go to the reference section of that particular paper that we have downloaded, and we are going to look for other articles that it has cited. So we are going to look for other articles that it has cited in relation to sleep quality among university students, and then we also download them. And this actually saves us time because we are going to find connected studies very quickly. So you can also do that as well. And when you are actually done with all this and you've actually found the number of articles you are looking for, the correct number of articles that you're looking for, after you've gotten at least 10 to 15 articles, I think it's great to relax there, because you are now going to find the gap within this. Anything more than that will probably be time consuming unless you have time to do so. So you can take each paper, you read the title and the abstract again, then write a summary of whatever they said. You read the conclusion and discussion section. Just note the main findings and the limitations that the authors have stated in that particular paper. You can also go through the method section to see the population, the target audience, and the sample size they used. And you just write one simple summary, just like this: the author and the year, the type of design they used, and the key finding and the limitation they reported in that study. Once you are done, you can either create a paragraph, a summary of everything that you've learned from each particular paper, or better still, you can create a table which is called a literature matrix, which is usually a spreadsheet. You can either use a spreadsheet or a word table. Then you write for each, the first column will contain the citation, the second column will contain the aim or research question in that particular PDF paper. Then the next will also contain probably another summary of the method and the sample. Then you're going to look at what they've measured and their key finding. Just make sure you find their key finding in relation to what you're looking for. Then the limitation. Most studies always have limitations stated in their discussion session or after the discussion session. So here's an example of the literature matrix. So you realize that we have the citation, for example, Lee 2021. This is just an example. Then the aim of the paper is to examine smartphone use before bed in undergrad. Their method was cross-sectional online survey for amount 412 undergraduates, and they use this tool. PSQI tool, which is a survey questionnaire to actually measure their aim. Then you write the findings here. You write their findings and the limitations, and you can also write the relevance if possible. You can say this particular article shows an association, and you can also write the relevance if possible. You can say something like this particular article shows an association between smartphone use before bed and the quality of sleep undergraduate students get. So you repeat this for at least your 10 to 15 papers, or even if it's more than that, you can repeat for all. It's going to be time consuming, but it's worth it. So once you are done with all this, you're now going to look at all the limitations. You're going to look at the limitations and the findings, and then realize and then see what is recurring among these limitations. For example, if all of the limitations are stating that they've done this study among university students, however, they've not tried doing it in senior high school students, then that is a very clear gap for you to fill, because that is called a population gap, which means they've done it among university students, but what of GSS and SHS students? So that is a gap for you. And also, if maybe majority are also dealing with only cross-sectional studies and they're using quantitative, that is also another gap for you, because you realize that, oh, everybody is using quantitative and it's cross-sectional. Why don't I do qualitative? So you realize that is a methodological gap. You change the method that you are going to look for. So you are going to use a different method to find out more. So if majority of the studies that you've actually skimmed through only did quantitative and probably cross-sectional, then you are going to say to yourself, I would like to explore this qualitatively, because you've noticed a methodological gap. So you have to identify themes and recurring patterns among all these articles you are writing. So once you read among all these articles that you are reading, so once you read an article, put the summary. So once you read an article, summarize them in at least a brief paragraph, or put them in a brief paragraph. So once you've read all these articles, put them all in the tabular matrix I've shown you earlier, and come back to see what patterns you can deduce from all this. And there's also the last thing. If there are too many articles on the exact same topic that you are also trying to do, then that is probably showing you that your topic might be redundant. It might not even be needed. However, if there is a clear gap, you can go for it. So the gap might be by method. Oh, they are doing only quantitative. Why don't I do qualitative? Oh, the population is only among first year. Oh, the population is only among first year students. Then you also change it to probably second year or SHS or GSS students. So you look for a gap that those studies that are already online and existing have not actually covered. And if a few studies exist, That means there's limited data on that. So you can either choose to do a scoping review or do a qualitative or exploratory review. So that is how you check for literature online and how you're going to decide what your gap is after reading through this literature and making meanings out of it. I hope you've learned something from this video, and any further question, kindly ask me and I will be available to help.